The pills I beg you to stop taking. I sit here in this familiar examination room. So many years have passed since I began practicing in this beautiful country of America. These walls have witnessed countless stories, countless tears, and countless happy smiles of those who have regained their health. But today, I feel heavy-hearted because there is something I can no longer remain silent about. It is the truth about the pills that millions of elderly Americans are taking every day. Pills they trust, pills they think are protecting them, but are actually silently destroying their hearts day by day, hour by hour. I know. There are mornings when you wake up with a vague sense of worry in your heart. Perhaps it was that fleeting chest pain last night, or the irregular heartbeat when you climbed the stairs. You stand before your medicine cabinet, looking at the rows of colorful vitamin bottles you've trusted for years, and wonder if you're doing the right thing. I want to tell you that that feeling of worry might be the voice of wisdom within you, because after nearly 40 years as a cardiologist, I have witnessed too many preventable tragedies, too many good hearts damaged by the very things advertised to protect them. Today, with all the love and responsibility of a physician, I will share with you what the vitamin industry doesn't want you to know. I will tell you about 5 types of vitamins that I truly beg my patients over 60 to stop taking. And more importantly, I will show you the right path to caring for your heart, to live your golden years in the healthiest and happiest way possible. High-dose vitamin E, the betraying friend. Do you know, there is a vitamin that most people believe the more, the better. That is vitamin E. I understand that trust because I was once the same way until I met Robert. Robert was a 72-year-old man, formerly an aerospace engineer at NASA. He lived very disciplined, exercised regularly, ate healthily, and paid special attention to vitamin supplementation. Every morning, Robert took 800 IU of vitamin E, believing it would protect his heart and brain from aging. "Doctor," Robert would often tell me during his regular checkups, "I've read many studies about vitamin E. It's the most powerful antioxidant, can prevent heart disease and memory loss. I take high doses to ensure effectiveness." I listened and secretly praised his carefulness. Until one day in October last year, Robert was rushed to the emergency room with severe gastric bleeding. His heart was beating weakly, blood pressure dropped sharply, and he was almost in a coma. When I received the news and rushed to the hospital, seeing Robert lying on the hospital bed with a pale face, I felt my heart almost stop beating. He, a strong man, careful with his health, how could he fall into this condition? After careful examination, we discovered the cause. The high-dose vitamin E that Robert was taking had thinned his blood excessively. Combined with the low-dose aspirin he used to protect his heart, it created a perfect storm in his body. You see, vitamin E at high doses doesn't just act as an antioxidant, it also has strong blood-thinning effects. For young people, this might not matter. But for us, those over 60, those whose blood vessels are more fragile, who might be taking other blood thinners, high-dose vitamin E becomes a double-edged sword. I remember clearly the look in Robert's eyes when he woke up. It wasn't anger or blame, but deep confusion. "Doctor," he whispered, "I did everything right. I was careful with my health. I read and understood thoroughly before taking. How did this happen?" That's when I realized. This wasn't just Robert's problem. This was a problem for millions of elderly Americans who trust incomplete information, who are deceived by flashy advertisements. After Robert recovered and was discharged, we had a long conversation. I explained to him that our bodies don't need too much vitamin E from pills. Nature has provided enough for us through daily foods. A handful of almonds, a spoonful of sunflower seeds. Those fresh green spinach leaves, they contain vitamin E in natural form, easily absorbed, and most importantly, safe. The body knows how to process them, knows when to absorb and when to stop. Today, Robert still exercises regularly, eats healthily, but he has stopped taking high-dose vitamin E, and you know what? He feels healthier than ever. His heart beats steadily. No more strange palpitations like before. "Doctor," Robert told me in his most recent checkup, "now I understand. Sometimes less is more. I lived 72 years without high-dose vitamin E. Why did I think I needed them now?" Calcium alone, when bones are strong but heart is weak. I want to tell you about Eleanor, a 74-year-old woman with a warm smile and always bright eyes. Eleanor first came to see me 3 years ago with deep concerns about osteoporosis. "Doctor," Eleanor said, her voice trembling with worry, "my mother died from a hip fracture at 78. I'm so scared. I don't want my children and grandchildren to have to care for me like I cared for my mother. I heard calcium is very important, so I take 1,200 milliliters every day, never forgetting." I listened to Eleanor's story and felt deep sympathy. Her fear wasn't unreasonable. Fractures in the elderly are indeed a serious problem. But the way she was solving the problem was creating another danger. Eleanor took calcium disciplined, 1 pill with breakfast every morning, 1 pill before bed every night. She believed that more calcium meant stronger bones, and indeed, after 2 years, her bone density scan results showed significant improvement. But when we did routine heart ultrasounds, I discovered something worrying. Small calcification plaques had begun appearing in Eleanor's coronary arteries. Her heart had to work harder to pump blood through pathways that were beginning to harden. "How is that possible, doctor?" Eleanor asked with eyes full of surprise. "I take calcium for strong bones. How does it affect the heart? I don't understand." That's when I had to sit down, take time to explain to Eleanor something very few people know. Calcium is like a lost child in our body. If no one guides it, it will wander around, accumulating where we don't want it. "Eleanor," I said gently, "calcium needs traveling companions. Vitamin K2 is the guide, magnesium is the supporter, vitamin D is the absorption helper. When calcium travels alone, it can get lost in arteries instead of reaching bones." I drew Eleanor a simple picture. Imagine your body as a city. Calcium is building materials. Without maps and guides, these materials will be piled up in wrong places, like on streets instead of construction sites. Eleanor listened, and I saw understanding beginning to shine in her eyes. "So what should I do now, doctor?" We changed our approach together. Instead of high-dose calcium pills, Eleanor began getting calcium from natural foods. A cup of Greek yogurt in the morning, some green vegetables at lunch, and small fish like sardines that she could eat bones and all. More importantly, we supplemented vitamin K2 from fermented foods like natto, cheese, and magnesium from pumpkin seeds, almonds. She also spent more time in the sun to synthesize natural vitamin D. After 1 year, the results surprised us both. Eleanor's bone density remained good, even improved. But most importantly, the calcification plaques in her arteries stopped growing, and her heart functioned more efficiently. "Doctor," Eleanor said in her recent checkup, "now I understand why our ancestors had fewer heart problems. They ate balanced diets, didn't concentrate everything on one nutrient like we do now." Eleanor is now 77, still living independently, still gardening, still playing with her grandchildren. She often tells me, "I'm grateful for that day when you explained it to me. If not, maybe I would have." Excess iron, when the body doesn't need more. There are stories that, even after many years, I still cannot forget. William's story is one of those stories. William, 69, was a Navy veteran who had served his country for many years. He came to see me with a deep question. Why did he feel persistently tired despite being retired and having a comfortable life? "Doctor," William said with a deep voice full of worry, "I wake up every morning already tired. I thought it was due to age, but I'm only 69, still have many years to live." William told me he had bought iron pills to take on his own, believing he was anemic. I heard elderly people are often iron deficient, so I bought the highest dose available, been taking it for 6 months. But strangely, the more William took iron, the more tired he felt. Not just physically tired, but mentally too. He began having difficulty concentrating, joint pain, and was especially worried when he noticed his skin had a strange color, somewhat grayish. When I ran blood tests for William, the results shocked me. His ferritin level, the indicator reflecting iron stores in the body, had reached 800 ngRMOI, while normal levels should be below 300. William, I told him, feeling heavy-hearted, you're not iron deficient, you have serious iron overload. I had to explain to William a cruel truth that nobody told him. Our bodies can regulate the absorption of most nutrients, but not iron. When iron enters the body, it stays there. There is no natural mechanism to eliminate excess iron. Excess iron is like rust in your body, I explained. It accumulates in the heart, liver, joints, and creates oxidation processes, damaging organs from within. William looked at me with eyes full of confusion and a bit of fear. So, I've harmed myself, doctor. You didn't harm yourself, I reassured him. You just did what you thought was right, based on incomplete information. Now, we'll work together to fix this. Treating William wasn't simple. We had to have him donate blood regularly to reduce excess iron. That was the only way to remove iron from the body. Each time he donated blood, he felt a little better. After 8 months of treatment, William had become a different person. His health recovered, his spirit was refreshed, and he could return to favorite activities like fishing and gardening. Doctor, William told me in his final checkup, I learned an expensive lesson. Not everything is better with more. Sometimes what our bodies need, they already have. William now only supplements iron when specifically indicated by a doctor after blood tests. He often tells friends his age, don't take iron on your own like I did, check if you really need it first. Vitamin B6 overdose, when nerves are damaged. Rose, a name I will never forget. Not because she was a particularly difficult patient to treat, but because her story changed how I view vitamin B6. Rose, 71, was a former elementary school teacher. She came to see me with strange symptoms that no doctor could explain. Numbness in hands and feet, feeling like ants crawling on skin, loss of sensation at fingertips. Doctor, Rose said with a worried voice, I think these are signs of diabetes or stroke. I'm so scared. I don't want to become a burden to my children. I ran complete tests. Blood sugar normal, no signs of stroke, kidney and liver functions, all fine. But Rose's symptoms kept getting worse. She began having difficulty gripping objects, walking unsteadily. One day, Rose's daughter brought her to see me with a large bag full of supplements. Doctor, my mother takes all of these. I wonder if they could be causing problems. When I examined carefully, I discovered something alarming. Rose was taking a multivitamin containing B6, a sleep support pill with B6, a memory enhancement pill also with B6, and an energy drink daily that also contained B6. Rose, I asked, do you know how much total B6 you're taking each day? Rose shook her head. I don't know, doctor. I just know B6 is good for nerves, so I thought more would be better. When I calculated, I was shocked. Rose was taking nearly 500 microgram of B6 daily, while the recommended dose is only 1.7 milliliters for women over 50. She was taking 300 times the necessary dose. Rose, I said gently, B6 isn't like vitamin C that can be easily eliminated. When there's too much, it accumulates in the nervous system and creates toxicity. I explained to Rose that excessive vitamin B6 can cause peripheral neuropathy, damage to peripheral nerves. That was exactly the cause of the numbness and loss of sensation she was experiencing. But doctor, Rose asked with a trembling voice, I took it for nerve health. How did it harm nerves? That was a question that made me reflect deeply. We live in a world where natural is synonymous with safe, where vitamin is considered harmless. But the truth is, even natural substances can become toxic when overdosed. Treating Rose took many months. We had to stop all unnecessary B6 sources, keeping only the minimal amount from food. Gradually, symptoms began to improve, but not completely. Some nerve damage from B6 overdose may not fully recover, I had to honestly tell Rose, but we will prevent the condition from getting worse. Today, 2 years later, Rose still has some numbness at her fingertips. It's a constant reminder of an expensive lesson, but she has learned to live with it, and more importantly, she has become a messenger about vitamin safety. "Doctor," Rose told me in her recent checkup, "now I understand vitamins are also medicine, and any medicine can cause harm if used incorrectly." Heart Health Multivitamins, Empty Promises. Perhaps the most heartbreaking story I want to share with you is about George, a 78-year-old man with a golden heart and strong faith in science. George was a former chemistry professor who always believed in research and scientific evidence. When he retired, he spent time researching nutrition and health. He read medical journals, attended seminars, and finally chose an expensive multivitamin advertised as scientific formula specifically for elderly cardiovascular health. "Doctor," George proudly told me, "I've researched thoroughly. This product has everything a person over 75 needs: coenzyme Q10, resveratrol, omega-3, magnesium, all in one pill." George took this product regularly for 2 years. He believed he was doing the best thing for his health, until he began feeling short of breath when walking, chest pain when climbing stairs, and irregular heartbeat at night. When George came to see me, he brought the vitamin box and a thick stack of research documents. "I don't understand, doctor. I did everything right. Why does my heart have problems?" I carefully examined the ingredients of the product George was taking. On the outside, it looked very impressive with a long list of nutrients. But when I dug deeper, "George," I said, "do you see it says proprietary blend, 2,000 milliliters here? Do you know what that means?" George shook his head. He was a scientist, but marketing language had fooled even him. Proprietary blend means they don't need to disclose the exact amount of each ingredient. Maybe 90% is cheap filler, and only 10% is the nutrients they advertise. I showed George something else. "See, this product contains too much niacin, vitamin B3. At high doses, niacin can cause flushing, which means hot flashes, red face, and more importantly, can cause sudden drops in blood pressure. And here," I continued, "green tea extract with high caffeine. For a 78-year-old with a sensitive heart, this could be the cause of heart rhythm disorders." George sat silently, looking at the vitamin box he once trusted. "So, I was deceived, doctor?" "You weren't deceived," I reassured him. "You were misled by a sophisticated marketing system designed to exploit our fears and desires for health. We stopped that product together and switched to a simpler approach. Just vitamin D3, some magnesium, and high-quality omega-3. And you know what? Within 2 months, George felt much healthier." "Doctor," George told me, "I learned that in science as in life, sometimes the simplest answer is the correct one." After all these stories, I know you're wondering, "So doctor, what should we take?" After hearing all this, I don't dare trust any vitamins anymore. I understand that feeling, the feeling of confusion, even despair when things you've trusted for years suddenly become dangerous. But I want you to know that not everything is bad. There are 3 friends that I trust to entrust the cardiovascular health of my dearest patients. Vitamin D3, sunshine in a pill. The first friend is vitamin D3. I call it sunshine in a pill for good reason. I remember the story of Helen, 73, who lived in Minnesota. The long, cold winters there meant she hardly ever saw sunlight from November to March. She came to see me with persistent high blood pressure, despite using many medications. "Doctor," Helen said, "I've tried my best. Low-salt diet, exercise, regular medication, but blood pressure still isn't stable." When I tested Helen's vitamin D, The result was only 12 Ng-milli, extremely low. I started her on vitamin D3 2000 IU daily. After 3 months, not only did Helen's vitamin D return to normal levels, but her blood pressure also became much more stable. She felt more energetic, slept better, and was mentally more uplifted. I never thought such a small vitamin pill could make such a big difference, Helen shared with me. Vitamin D3 isn't just important for bones. It also helps regulate blood pressure, supports the immune system, and reduces inflammation in the body. For people living in areas with little sun, or those who rarely go outside, vitamin D3 is truly necessary. Magnesium, the mineral of peace. The second friend is magnesium. I call it the mineral of peace because of its miraculous effects on nerves and heart muscle. I have a patient named Thomas, 67, a retired businessman who still couldn't turn off his mind. He often suffered from insomnia, unexplained rapid heartbeat, and felt stressed despite no longer having work pressure. "Doctor," Thomas said, "I thought retirement would be more relaxing, but why do I feel more anxious? My heart beats like a drum every time I lie down." When I tested Thomas's blood magnesium, his level was low. We began supplementing with magnesium glycinate 400 kilograms every evening before bed. The change happened gradually but noticeably. Within 2 weeks, Thomas began sleeping deeper. The palpitations significantly decreased. Most importantly, he felt calmer, as if a relaxation switch had been turned on in his body. "Magnesium is like a gentle friend," Thomas described. "It doesn't make me sleepy forcefully, but helps me naturally relax." Magnesium is important for over 300 enzyme reactions in the body. It helps the heart function rhythmically, reduces muscle tension, and supports natural sleep. Omega-3, lubricant for the heart engine. The third friend is omega-3. I often compare it to lubricant for the heart engine, helping everything run more smoothly. Sarah, 65, came to see me after having less than favorable cholesterol test results, high LDL, low HDL, and triglycerides at concerning levels. "Doctor," Sarah worried, "I'm afraid I'll have to take statins. I heard they have many side effects." Instead of hastily prescribing medication, I suggested Sarah try high-quality omega-3 for 3 months, combined with dietary changes and exercise. After 3 months, Sarah's test results improved significantly. Triglycerides dropped from 280 to 150, HDL increased, and most importantly, the omega-3 omega-6 ratio in her blood became more balanced. "I feel like my blood flows more easily," Sarah shared. "No more sticky feeling like before." Omega-3 helps reduce inflammation, improves vascular endothelial function, and supports stable heart rhythm. But importantly, you must choose high-quality omega-3 sources that have been tested for purity. After years of practice, I've learned a simple philosophy. In healthcare, less is often better. I remember a saying from my teacher long ago. Humans lived for thousands of years without medicine cabinets full of vitamins. They lived on real food, clean air, and connection with nature. This doesn't mean we should completely reject modern scientific advances. Rather, we need to learn to distinguish between what is truly necessary and what is just marketing tricks. I often tell patients, imagine your body as a garden. It needs water, sunlight, and balanced nutrients. But if you water too much, fertilize too much, the garden will die from excess. If you're feeling overwhelmed after hearing all this, I understand. Let me give you some practical suggestions you can apply starting today. First, check your medicine cabinet. Take out all the vitamins and supplements you're taking. Put them on the table and ask yourself, do I really need all of these? Second, read labels carefully. If you see proprietary blend or ingredients you can't pronounce, consider carefully. Simple is usually safer. Third, before taking any supplement, ask your doctor. Not for them to control you, but to help you make smart decisions. Fourth, remember that food is always better than supplements. A colorful salad bowl has higher nutritional value than a handful of pills. Finally, listen to your body. If you feel more tired, more uncomfortable after taking a certain supplement, that might be a signal your body is sending you. I want to share with you signs you should watch for, which might be caused by vitamins or supplements. If you suddenly feel irregular heartbeat after starting a new vitamin, stop and consult your doctor. If you have bruises appearing for no apparent reason, it might be due to vitamin E or natural blood thinners. If you feel numbness in hands and feet, it might be due to B6 overdose. If you feel more tired after taking iron, check if you really need iron. If you have a flush feeling, hot flashes, red face, it might be due to niacin overdose. These signs aren't always caused by vitamins, but they're worth noting and discussing with your doctor. I want to end with a hopeful story, the story of Dorothy, 82, who came to see me in terrible health condition. Dorothy took 23 different supplements every day. She believed that more vitamins meant better health. But in reality, she felt weak, forgetful, and had many health problems. "Doctor," Dorothy told me, "I'm taking so many vitamins, why do I feel worse?" We decided to try an experiment, stop all unnecessary supplements, keeping only vitamin D3, magnesium, and high-quality omega-3. At the same time, Dorothy began eating more fruits and vegetables, walking daily, and spending time on activities she loved. After 6 months, Dorothy was like a different person, mentally sharp, energetic, and most importantly, she felt happy. "Doctor," Dorothy told me, "I lived 82 years to learn that. Sometimes less is more." I sit here in this familiar examination room with countless memories of hearts that have been saved, lives that have been changed. And I want to tell you something from the bottom of my heart. Your heart is stronger than you think. It has been beating nonstop since you were in your mother's womb. It has accompanied you through all the ups and downs of life. And now at this age, it's still ready to serve you, if you know how to care for it properly. Don't let unnecessary pills become a burden for your already hard-working heart. Don't let flashy advertisements blind you to the simple truth. Your body needs to be loved, not tortured. Start today, ask questions, learn, listen to your body, and most importantly, believe that it's never too late to change. I have witnessed 90-year-olds regain health when they stopped harmful habits. I have seen tired hearts become strong when properly cared for, and I believe your heart is the same. It's waiting for you to make smart decisions, loving choices. The journey of healthcare isn't a speed race. It's a gentle waltz requiring patience, understanding, and love. Remember that you are not alone in this journey. There are doctors like me, friends, family members, always ready to support you. We are here to help you distinguish right from wrong, to accompany you on the path to regaining health. Your heart deserves the best care. Start by loving it, listening to it, and making the right decisions for it. And remember, each new day is a new opportunity to do better, to live healthier, to be happier.